Belal Muhammad was not a fan of Demetrious Johnson's prediction video prior to UFC 304. DJ was confident that Leon Edwards was going to beat Belal.
All right, boys, now when it comes to my final picks, I'm going to have to go with Leon Edwards. I think Leon Edwards is too crisp. I think he's coming into his own as a champion. I think his stand-up is too nice. He's a sniper on the feet. I think he's been fighting tougher competition with Kamaru Usman and then Colby Covington. And I don't think Belal Muhammad can go across the void and get his hands or the wrestling on Leon Edwards.
Belal fired back on the Anakin Florian podcast and says that DJ and Kamaru Usman both suck at being analysts.
Told you so, right? To all the people out there that will sit there and all these like so-called experts, even these fighters. You have Demetrious Johnson thinking that he's this great analyst. He sucks. Usman sucks at analyzing stuff. All these guys, they don't know what they're talking about. When you get into the cage with me, it's different. When you get into the cage with me, you think it's slow. Then you get punched in the face and you realize it's fast. You get into the cage with me, you think, oh man, he doesn't hit hard. Then you get hit in the mouth and then you back down.
Yeah.
If Leon Edwards wasn't getting hurt, he would have stepped forward the whole time. He would have planted his feet. But he was getting punched in the mouth. He was getting hurt, and he was backing up to the cage like a coward, and he was breaking, and he was folding because he didn't like what he was feeling. And his coach, his team, him and Ariel Helwani when had their little laughs before the fight, he was laughing with DC talking about, oh, he can't box. You think he's gonna outbox me?
Right.
He's the sniper. You can't snipe anything when you're getting punched in the mouth. And that was my biggest thing. I knew that I would be in it. I had the mentality of stepping up in his face, not being afraid of anything he throws at me, and then just hitting him.
Both Demetrious Johnson and Kamaru Usman fired back at Belal. On X, DJ wrote, I love it. I stick to my guns. I thought Leon was going to piece him up. And Kamaru Usman says respectfully, it is slowly and kind of weak. Just saying. Conor McGregor responded to Sean O'Malley mocking him for his new training footage. Conor recently posted this to X.
1 minute.
Sean O'Malley responded saying slow and sloppy. Conor fired back saying throw the same shot on the pads and let's see your version, lad. That would unalive a motherfucker for real, that shot. It's nice work. Cheer up. Tony Ferguson reveals he has went back to sparring ahead of his fight against Michael Chiesa. Tony says it's the first time he's sparred in 7 years.
I had 2 surgeries, and I think that was the kick to the sack that I needed to be able to get my together, because like I said before, I've said this a couple of times, I went back to sparring and I haven't sparred in 7 years, where I've had good training partners, and I put in about 120 rounds or so more of sparring. I put a lot of wrestling in, good training partners, good vibes on a good team, the Beehive back home in Orange County. And it took a lot to be able to go and ask, to say, hey, would you mind if I come in and spar, and then be invited, because I've had part of teams and they've broken up and it was hard to put the band back together. It just didn't sound the same. I fucking sound like a broken record saying this all the time. But finding that happiness within the training was really hard over the couple of years, and it's been cool.
Aljamain Sterling responds to the back and forth Sean O'Malley and Merab had regarding Sean's coach, Tim Welch. If you didn't see the clip, Merab brings up how he wants to smack Tim for some recent comments, and Sean tells Merab that Tim would kill him in a street fight. Aljo says that if Tim Welch is really about that life, to do something.
Bro, I was so pissed when I see the whatever.
If you have a problem with him, you can take it up with him. He'll fight you. If that's what you want, he'll do it. He's not.
Why we don't fight?
You said you were on to fight him. He didn't say he wanted to fight you.
His face, but now
I dare you to do
want to
it.
mess
I
our
think you
fight.
should.
Bro, it's not about who's stronger and who's heavyweight or whatever. But I'm talking about street fights.
Yeah, you can street fight him.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that. Yeah, he'll die. You want to die? Is that what you're saying? He'll kill you.
Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Aljo said Merab just is who he is, and if something bothers him or something annoys him, he's going to call you out on it. I think that's all he was doing, was making it known how he felt. Like, dude, your coach is your coach. Your coach shouldn't be getting involved in things like this and talking shit to the fighters. I commented that, and Tim Welch, for the second time, said he wasn't talking shit, but there is evidence that we saw, which is what got us annoyed. Like, yo, are you the coach or are you the fighter? Because if you want to be the fighter and start talking shit, the same way Henry Cejudo's camp was going, you make things a little bit different when interactions are involved. So I just told him simply, yo, we don't hate you or anything, but understand your place in the game. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful for this tough guy, but there are consequences for things that are being said. If you're going to sit here and talk shit when there's a street beef or interaction that occurred, you're now a part of the mess. So do your job, make sure these guys get to the fight, and don't be the one instigating because you might be the one to get your face punched. I know O'Malley is sitting there. I wish you would fight him. There's weight classes for a reason. But if we want to speak facts, Tim Welch wishes he could do half of what Merab and I have accomplished. Wishes, so weight classes are not all that matters. There's a skill difference between the three of us, and I think he understands that. Whether it's a street fight, cage fight, it doesn't matter. I'm not even trying to take it there. Let's just call it what it is. If you're trying to sit there and say, I wish you would see what will happen, okay, if your coach is really about that life, have him get froggy and leap. It's that simple. Alexander Volkanovski fired back at Belal Muhammad's recent remarks. If you missed yesterday's video, it started with Volk saying that stylistically, Belal is a good matchup for him. Belal went on the Anakin Florian podcast and responded to Volk, saying that he'd slap the hell out of him. Volk responded via X. He wrote, at Belal Muhammad, you have every reason to hate on what I said about you being a good stylistic matchup for me, but I truly believe that. Even after your last fight, you didn't show me anything different. You still mad because I accidentally missed your call. Pathetic. Say shut up, I'll smack the shit out of you to my face and see what happens. On the Jackson podcast, Rampage Jackson claims an old interview with Ariel Helwani got him sued for $1.5 million. Rampage says that Ariel didn't try to get him in trouble. However, Rampage wasn't taught to say the word allegedly before making certain claims.
I'm not talking about Ariel because, like, me and him, we don't always see eye to eye, but we cool now. But straight up, he got me sued. Cost me probably like $1.5 million.
For what? Wait,
for
is that a true story?
True story.
Ariel Helwani cost you $1.5 million.
Doing an interview with him.
Wow.
You got me sued.
You got sued for that, not the one where you the girl?
No. The girl, that was consensual. Like, people just act.
That was like a skit. People don't realize the whole internet doesn't understand. Yeah,
but no. Back in the day, I had this one manager that I really can't talk about, and I fired him because I can't talk about it. And Ariel Helwani interviewed me, and I talked about it. And the guy,
because he knew, because he poked at that shit?
No, he didn't try. It wasn't. He tried. He just asked me questions. But only thing I'm upset about Ariel is that he didn't teach me that I have to say allegedly and stuff like that when I say certain. But what I said was true. What I said was real. But I just had to prove it in court that what I was saying was real. And how everything worked out, I ain't gonna say another name. He told me his nephew was an attorney, and his nephew f***ed me over. I hired his nephew to represent me, and then like a week or 2 weeks before trial, he dropped me and told the judge, like, oh, he's not cooperating, and he hadn't paid me. The bro he's paid up and everything. I'd never been sued before, so he never asked me questions. I thought he was gonna handle it, because I was told that he had already handled the case when this person sued the media for saying the same shit I said, right? Because I fired this manager. Long story short, I went and hired this big law firm, and they looked at my case and they just said, I gave him a big retainer. Then they said, oh, just set out of court.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to the back and forth between Belal Muhammad and Alexander Volkanovski. The first one's from Ocean Drives. Says, disrespecting Volk is the quickest way to be hated. The second one's from Gray Matter. It says, Volk versus Belal is such an odd and unexpected beef. And the final one says, Belal, I have an opinion now, Muhammad. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.